So we have another AMC 10-minute problem. So this was number 24, and then this is the another arithmetic sequence problem. So what we have is x plus y, x minus y, xy, and x over y are given a arithmetic sequence in this order. And then based on this, we want to find the fifth term, which is the next term after the x over y. So the question is straightforward, but since we have no idea about the x and y, we kind of are like stuck, right? But what we can at least try to see how the arithmetic sequence will help us with this problem. So what I know is just the difference between any two consecutive terms are constant, which we call common difference. So when you look at the first term to the second term, I will find the common difference first. Okay, so that's my common difference. So which is gonna be x minus y. That's my second term. If I subtract the first term, that should be my common difference. So that is x minus y minus x when you expand this negative sign. So minus y. So cancel the x's. So you will end up getting negative 2y, which is interesting. So what it's telling us, when you add negative 2y to this term, you end up getting the next term. So let me rewrite this slightly differently. X plus y is my first term. When you add negative 2y to this, you end up getting x minus y. And if I add another negative 2y, so I will end up getting x minus 3y. If I add another negative 2y, so I will get x minus 5y. And that will be my fourth term, but I need to know next term, which is two lesser y values, which is minus 7y. So this is the term that we are interested. And I do know the xy is the same as this one, and x over y is the same as this one. So we need to use somehow. So let me write those. X times y equals, right, x minus 3y, and x over y is equal to x minus 5y. So like some people may try finding values of x and y by just plugging some random value for one of those variables to find the other one. You may end up getting something, might be working, but you never know when you are gonna get that pair. So which is not really safe to try, especially during the test. So I will try something right here now. So, you know, we have these two, but if you have one equation in terms of one of the variable, then we are going to be done. So we can just find out immediately. So the fraction doesn't look fun. So let's multiply this by y. So that should be equal to xy. So this equation, when you multiply by y, that will be x times y minus 5y squared. Even though we got a second power, which is fine, I guess. So what we have now, xy is equal to this, but there is also another xy right here. Maybe we can substitute that xy in this equation. If I do that, so that will be x equals, instead of xy, I'm gonna write x minus 3y and then minus 5y squared, which is nice because these guys are actually will cancel each other. So you get 0 equals, on the right side, we have y as a common. So I'm going to pull that as common factor. So y times negative 3 minus 5y is equal to 0. So if the product of two things is 0, so each product might be 0. So that's going to tell us y is 0. Or if you make this expression linear expression is 0. So negative 5y minus 3 is 0. Negative 5y is 3. Y will be just 3 over 5 with negative sign. So we got y as negative 3, which is good because as soon as we have something, we can just find the other ones immediately. And then I'm going to plug into this equation to get that. So the x times y, x times negative 3 equals x minus 3 times negative 3. So this is good, but the 5's in the denominator doesn't look fun. I'm going to multiply the equation by 5, so you will cancel the 5, so you get negative 3x. When you multiply this term by 5, so you end up getting 5x. When you multiply this by 5, the 5s will cancel. You got -3 times -2, which is just 6. And if you subtract 5x, so you get -8x is 6. So divide by -8. So 6 over -8, which is -3 over 4. So we were able to get the x as well. So the final part of the problem, we just substitute those values in my x minus 7y. X is -3, 4, and minus 7 times y, which is -3 over 5. So we have 5 and 4 in the denominator. So it looks like we might be getting this or that. So if there is no simplification, but it's kind of promising. So I can multiply this by 5. Let me see. Right, so it looks like this is 4, -3, 4. Actually, yeah, that was 3, 4, right? Okay, so then let's go ahead and 3/5 was the answer. So I think it wasn't 3, 4. So I got xy as -3 times the x, which is -3/5. Okay, and I multiply by 5, so that should be 5x. That is 6, and then we subtract 5 from both sides. You end up getting -8x is equal to that. X is -3, 4. Okay, so I feel like there's something went wrong. So, oh, this was -3. Oh, I was able to read because I wasn't getting something I was expecting. So then, yeah, this was -3. So if you multiply, you actually end up getting 9. So which is gonna change. This is 9. This is 9. So that will change as well. So let's put it back. Then this is 9. So that should be 9 over 8. Okay, that's good. So now we have our x and y correctly. So the last part now, just plug in those, right? So x is -9 over 8 minus 7 times y, which is -3 over 5. So if you multiply this by 5, you get -45. If you multiply this by 8, so you get 21 times 8, which is like 120, like 20 times 8 is 160, which is 21. So you get another 8, which is 168 over 40. So if you subtract 40 from 60, you got 20. So that looks like 123. When you subtract 5 from 8, so that looks like choice E. So the question wasn't too challenging. It was just finding a way to eliminate one of the variable as soon as you write all the the term in terms of x and y in a way that we actually use the definition of arithmetic sequence, which basically difference are the same. So that's what was helpful. But other than that, like when you have the, let's say, equation that were like this guy and this guy, you might be trying some other ways, but dealing with fraction is not fun. So which is why I kind of start with that. And then when you do so, it was nicer to cancel the x's, and then we got y alone. 0 can't possible because if 0 is the denominator, so that will be x over 0, which is not okay. So that's why we chose this y instead of this y. So, and then we got the x value after plugin, so we got our final answer. So I hope that was clear. So I'll see you in the next video.